Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to part two of our Let's Talk Tech series for May. I'm Stephanie Jones, DDA's Director of Innovations. Thank you for joining us again. And once again, we have our great presenter, Joan Green, who will teach us a little bit more about our smart devices and how to use them. Before she gets started, just want to let you know that all accessibility capabilities have been turned on and they're at the bottom of the screen. Also, Joan has been kind enough to drop in the links to the two presentations, today's and last week's. You would have to check both of the boxes, put in your name, email, check both boxes, and you will have access to both slide decks. So without further ado, Joan.
Great. Well, welcome back, everybody, to session 2 of 3 sessions in this round of Let's Talk Tech. We're talking all about maximizing independence with smartphones. I'm going to do a very brief recap and check-in for those of you who were able to attend live or watch the recording. And then we'll dive into some new information. And so again, this is really focused on smartphones. So you are a variety of people. Please take the time to introduce yourselves because I see a lot of new names of people that weren't here in the first week, and I see some repeat attendees, which is great. So take a minute to go into the chat if you're able, and let's get to know each other. Let us know if you're a provider, where you work, if you're a caregiver, if you're an individual receiving services. We've got tech novices, we've got tech experts, and I really want to empower you to connect with each other. So if you are able, if you see a familiar face, you can private direct message them in there. And you all are really more of an expert in this world than I am. I'm good with tech, but I don't live my days helping all individuals with developmental disabilities and intellectual impairments. You guys are really the experts. So I've tried very hard to give you the best that I know, but really, if I talk about something that you want to give a shout out because you've tried it and you love it, put that in the chat. If you've had difficulties using something, put that in the chat or any new ideas, because I want you to learn as much from each other as you do from me, because again, you might be more immersed in this world than I am. So I see some people writing into the chat. You're all welcome. And so again, the goals for our time together is that I think that a train the trainer approach is often the way to get the best value out of me. So I'm doing my best to train the trainer, to train all the caregivers and providers with the tools that you can use to help others. And of course, these tools are really great if you're a receiver of services. You can just try them out yourself. We're looking to use phones to enhance communication and social connection, and also to promote safety, organization, and self-reliance. So I'm not going to read everything that we're doing each time. But again, the smartphone is the one tool that many individuals seem to already have. And so that's why Stephanie asked me to really focus on the smartphone and built-in accessibility features that people might not know and all of the ways that we can think to use it. So some of the information in these slides I might not be covering, but again, you all have access to the slides and they're filled with live links to learn more. So last week, we talked a lot about communication essentials. I talked about getting started, the initial access and setup, audio and video calls, and lots of options there, texting and contacts. I'm going to pause for a minute, and I'm just curious if it sparked any ideas for you to try something new. You know, did you have any successes or frustrations? Try to put those in the chat. I'm curious what you all tried. So welcome to Anastasia and Stephen and Lauren and Kelly and Adirin and Kathy and Jenny and Rafina and Janet. Those are some of the names that I see. So did anybody try anything new? Lauren says, I made my cell phone text darker so I can read or see it better. Great. Yep, there are lots of accessibility features that we don't think to look at. If you go to settings and accessibility, there's a whole range of features for hearing and vision and communication. Okay, Treve changed his screen on his phone. Okay, I'll get back to this. If any of you tried anything new, let us know, because sometimes when you hear that other people have tried things, it makes you it triggers you to might that you might want to try that too. Thomas says he changed the settings on all of the family's phones. Yeah. So settings is a huge thing. That's great. Okay. So today we're talking about increasing independence and safety. Oh, and Loanne said suddenly she saw AI on Zoom. Right. When you're in a Zoom meeting, there is AI and you can get an automatic recap of the meetings. I've enabled AI in this. So you can look at the bottom and look at the AI companion and what it might do for you. So today we're talking about staying safe, getting around, translation apps, health and medical information, and camera and photos. And so what I did is within these topics, I really tried to think about what you might not know exists or different ways that we can use our phones to help everybody. So again, I had this slide in the last one, but I really want this to become top of mind, a new tech mindset. How can readily available and free or low-cost technologies help others experience success with everyday tasks, or stay socially connected and enjoy life? We're looking for that lowest hanging fruit first. It's going to have the greatest impact, the least resistance, and be readily available with limited expense. So that's what I'm going for here. Think of me as your tech advisor and coach. I love learning about emerging technologies. I live here in Montgomery County, Maryland. I'm a speech pathologist and an assistive technology specialist. I have 4 young adult children. I'm very much immersed in elder care, and it makes my day to help others improve life with tech. So reach out to me. I offer free 15-minute calls. I have a Tech Life Inner Circle membership, which I would love for you to join. I have a free Facebook group, and I'm all about helping people. So staying safe. I think that becomes top of mind when we're looking to empower adults with developmental disabilities and intellectual impairments with a phone. That's, you know, a lot of people are nervous because you want them to stay safe, and that really opens up Pandora's box of potential problems, right? So I'm going to give you a scenario to bring this all home. Charlie loves to be around people and spend time on social media. He often shares too much personal information with strangers. On the computer, he will click on ads and pop-ups, right? So think about that and think about all the bad things that can happen. And I'm not going to get into them all here, but I think that we need to really empower users to be safe, right? So we have to regularly remind people not to share personal information. We don't want to give out our full name, address, phone number, passwords, or bank information to people we don't know in real life. We want to be on the lookout for scams or fake friends. Talk about the common red flags, asking for money, making threats, or promising prizes. And we need to use supervision and open communication. So we want others to be able to talk to us if they see something confusing, scary, or upsetting. So think about it and share in the chat. Do you teach others safe use of phones? I'm curious what you all do. How, if people within your care have a phone, how do you ensure that they're not going to get into trouble with it? So as I'm waiting, and I'm hoping that you'll be participative here. And also, so in one sense, we want to make sure that they're safe. They don't get into trouble using the phones, right? They use it wisely and safely, but also the phone can be a tremendous source of safety, of keeping them safe. So what do you think of when you think that a phone can help somebody stay safe? Put those thoughts down into, oh, Lauren says, I try to remind my elderly mother not to give out personal information on her phone, and I removed her computer. Okay, interesting. Yeah, I am constantly trying to tell people not to answer the phone if you don't know who's calling, not to click on anything in a text, how to look up at the URL, to see where messages are coming from, to see if it's a legitimate source. Or like if a bank is calling you, don't answer anything, but you can call back the bank or log in with your information and see if there truly is a problem. So there's a whole world out there of really good resources. Um, so what I did is I really scoured the internet and did a lot of searching, and I found some tremendous resources that you all can use that are free. So here's something out of Community Living in British Columbia. It's called I Can Be Safe Online. So if you click on it, um, you don't have to log in or anything, I don't think, with this one. There are all these different tips. So tip for protecting your password, um, tips for looking into your privacy settings. So I thought that this could be helpful for you all to go through a lot of best practices for being safe online. I also found this by SafetyNet, an accessible guide to keeping everyone safe online. And I think this is I'm just going to play this for a minute or two. I hope it goes through. Let's see.
Using the internet is an amazing way to make new friends, stay in touch, and find information. But we need to remember to keep ourselves safe when we are online and make others feel safe too, just like we do in everyday life.
Staying private online is so important. Sometimes people can pretend to be someone different on the internet, so we need to be careful and only share information with people we know.
We should only share private information, like our phone numbers and addresses, with people we trust in real life. Some information is always private, like our passwords, and should never be shared with anyone.
So it's a 3-minute video. I'm not going to show you the whole thing, but I do have the link in the handout. It's on YouTube. So it's by SafetyNet. Okay, and then I have more resources. So again, I spent a lot of time looking up the best of the best. And so here these are just resources that you might be able to use to learn more about safe practices and online safety. And there was also a 2-hour video by the New Jersey Regional Family Support Planning Councils for working with adults with developmental disabilities that I thought was really enlightening. So again, you have access to all of these things. Just click on them, and hopefully, if you're a provider, some of these will be appropriate and will help you keep people safe. Okay, so I see somebody made comments about changing passwords to accounts every 3 to 4 weeks. Somebody's parents taught him not to give out information to scammers, which happened in college. Yeah, so it can be a problem. And while I'm singing the praises of the phone and how it can enhance independence, I just didn't want to lose sight about how it can also get you into trouble. So those resources are great. All right, now I'm going to switch gears and we're going to talk about enhancing independence and getting around, mobility. Here's a scenario. Maria is a 29-year-old who works part-time at a local cafe as part of a supported employment program. She's proud of her job and eager to travel independently between home and work. However, Maria struggles with reading signs and navigating unfamiliar places. Her family worries about her getting lost, missing stops, or being unable to ask for help if she becomes confused. They've always driven her, but Maria wants more freedom and confidence. Last week, she tried taking the bus by herself, but she couldn't read the route sign. She got anxious and returned home. So let me know, is this a scenario that you struggle with? People want to be more independent, but it might be hard. So the tool that comes to my mind is one of my favorite tools, and it's called Google Lens. And so this is a free app that everybody with a smartphone can use. Let me know if you've ever used Google Lens and how it worked for you. If you're on an iPhone, and I'll be doing a live demo of this, If you're on an iPhone, you use the Google app and tap on the lens icon, and I'll be showing that to you. So it's the app with the colorful G. If you're on an Android phone, you look for the lens icon on the right side of the Google search bar. Some people, on some Android phones, I think there's also a Google Lens app. And on some of them, it might also show up within the camera app. So Android phones are a little different. They're all different from each other. So what you do essentially is you point it at text in the environment, and you can select the text, and it will automatically, immediately read it out loud. It's amazing. So you just tap on the highlighted words, and it reads aloud automatically. So here I have a picture on the right of a sort of an old business card of mine. I put it down, and I focused. I opened up the Google app, and I clicked on the little camera icon, and it found the text, and then I could just touch listen, and it would read it aloud. And not only can it read it aloud, but it can also translate into lots of languages. And you can select the text and copy and paste it wherever you want for free. Really cool. And again, I'm going to come back and I'm going to talk about some of these things, and then I'm going to demo them for you. So another really good app that's free, this one is by Microsoft, it's called Seeing AI. And what this is it also reads text aloud, but this is really made for people with low vision and blindness, but it's also really great for people that just have trouble reading. So what you can do is you point it at text, and again, it will read aloud. Some people say it's more accurate, but it also has a lot of auditory descriptions, which some people might find confusing because it's geared toward people who are blind and have low vision. Okay, so, sorry, I have a typo here. So you point your camera with both of these. You can point your camera at menus, signs, or medicine bottles, and they read aloud. And for better accuracy, you can actually tap to take a picture, and then what it does is it uses some AI and it reads aloud. For a lot of these, you might need high contrast. So again, this is a book that I had written. So what I did is I used Seeing AI, and then it selected the text. I took a screenshot of my phone here, and then I would press play and it would read it aloud. So it's really pretty amazing. Lauren said, I was just told about Google Lens by a young person about finding out what kind of snake was in the yard. Yeah, so Google Lens, so I'll go back. So Google Lens can work in two ways. It can interact with text. So it's really good for reading text aloud, but it also can find similar images. So a lot of time, if you want to find out what kind of animal you're looking at or what kind of plant, or you want information about a famous statue, you can use Google Lens and it will find similar items and bring up websites or information about the item. Really, really cool. All right, so I'm going to actually stop there, and while I'm going to change my share. So I'm going to stop the share. And for those of you who give presentations, I'm going to talk you through it. I go to the advanced share on Zoom, and then I'm going to go to iPhone via AirPlay and select share. Then I'm going to go to my iPhone, and I'm going to swipe down from the top right, so into my control panel, and there's an option for screen mirroring. So I'm going to go to screen mirroring, and I see an option for Zoom. So now I'm going to go to Zoom. And in a minute, you'll be able, there you go. You see my screen. I'm going to swipe up, and now I'm going to go to Google Lens. So I'm on an iPhone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to search for that Google app. And there it shows up that in the top middle. So I'm going to select that. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the camera. So on the top, it says search, and then the top image on the right is a camera icon. So I'm going to select that. And then I happen to have a magazine right here, the Land's End magazine. So I'm going to point it here. And then I'm going to say select text. And then listen.
Everything you need for summer, sorted and styled.
So it just automatically read it aloud. I mean, really cool. So this could be, I guess I'm doing a commercial for Land's End. So let me, I'm going to go here. Here's another magazine. You know, I'm opening up the magazine, and all I'm going to do is select the text. I just click on it. And then I can select listen. Select text and listen.
Tote girls love a breezy linen moment from $40. Breathable linen keeps you cool wherever you're headed, effortlessly chic, endlessly versatile. Button it up, belt it in, or let it flow new. B linen long sleeve button front shirt.
Okay, so I'm going to stop that. So the other way that you can use this is if you want to find similar images. So let's say I really like that tote. I really like that purse. I can go to search, and what it's going to do is it's going to search for similar items. And then I'll find visual matches. So if you see something on the television, or you see somebody bringing a gift to somebody and you want to know where they got it from, you can do use Google Lens. It's almost becoming a verb, you know, Google Lens it. Or you see something in the attic, something old that you don't know what it's for, or how much it's worth. It's really a great app. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you, well, Seeing AI.
Read.
And so there are three choices at the
The
bottom.
easy and meant them $40.
Read,
In and keeps you
decide.
cool. I re-headed he. Lab. W tote girls love a breezy linen moment from $40. Breathable linen.
So with that, so I'm just pointing it at something and it's reading it out loud. So it's really amazing. So again, if you've ever used it, let us know what you've used it for and how it's helped. So Stephen said, also good to see if something is a scam, if the image is copied from another place and they claim it as their own. Yeah. Okay. So now I'm going to move on to using maps on the smartphone. So if somebody wants to be more independent with transportation and getting around, being able to use the map that's just already on their phone is really helpful. I would say Apple Maps and Google Maps are the most popular. There are others like Waze. I mean, there are a bunch of them, but I would say Apple Maps and Google Maps are really great, and they offer step-by-step visual, written, and spoken directions for walking, public transit, and driving. So you can go into the settings like everything else. I hope you'll get into the habit of whenever you go into an app, go to the settings and go to accessibility and see what's available. Sometimes you have to go to the main settings of the phone, and then you can find a listing of all the apps. Sometimes you're in the app and you can look for accessibility. So some things you can think about are you can emphasize accessibility info and get information about wheelchair routes. You can enable offline maps. So if you know somebody's going to be going, you know, in some metro area and they might not want to use up all their data on their phone, you can download the maps so they can use them. You can also show a live view of walking options. So you hold it up and it'll recognize, you can hold up the map, your phone, and it'll see live where you are and offer you instructions on how to get around. So there's some really good things with maps. You can enable voice guidance, and you can have the sound go through earbuds or hearing aids directly. You can also estimate, you know, when you should leave or how long something's going to take by giving it information on the exact time you plan to depart or when you need to arrive by. So let me know who here has used the Maps apps, and are there any certain features that you like to use on it? I'm going to go through some more features and then we can do a live demo if you like. So with Google Maps, you can go to the accessibility settings and get wheelchair accessible routes. Again, preload the maps in case the Wi-Fi or mobile signal is not available. You can create a custom list of favorite locations. So if you put in the person's home, work, community center, grocery store, and park, they'll be able to find it faster on the map. And you can even use these maps, not everywhere, but in a lot of malls and museums and, you know, famous big places. Often you can get help getting around those buildings with the Maps apps. Another way that you can use your Maps apps is location sharing for safety. So I think it's important that as individuals are getting out and about and they might need some support, somebody might want to know where they are, right? So you can use GPS tracking tools, but you really need to make sure that you're not infringing on their privacy, right? So you want to make sure to get informed consent and share control for tracking. So if you're in Google Maps, you can go under share location. You turn that on during a trip, and you can turn it off after you arrive safely. And it just shares it for that trip, or you can share location all the time. You can use different tile trackers. If you have an Android phone, you can, if you have there's a Samsung Galaxy Smart Tag that you can use. And also Android has a Find Hub. So if you click on that, you can attach smart tags, or you can search for all of your different Android devices. And so I'm not going to go through all the different ways to do that, but you can click on that link. For Apple devices, you would go through the Find My app. So everybody with an iPhone, you can go to the Find My app and you can share your location with a designated person forever in an ongoing way, or just for a specific period of time. Oh, I see Jane asked, does Google Lens need pay for service? No, it's totally free. Google Lens is totally, totally free. And so another way to track somebody is with Apple's AirTags. So I know one of my daughters, she and the two of us share our location in an ongoing way, because she just thinks she wants someone to know where she is all the time. And especially when she was traveling or when she was in college, she thought it would be really good for me to always know where she was. And so I never really look at it unless I'm wondering where she is or why she's not returning my calls, or, I respect her privacy, but it's there if I need it. And she does the same with me. So being able to track somebody and share location for safety, I think is really key. And there are lots of ways to do it. If you're looking for other alternatives, Life 360, I know a lot of families feel comfortable using that you have to pay for, and you share location in real time with chosen contacts. And you can also have alerts for arrivals and departures. And so you can also consider geofencing alerts. So basically, if somebody goes outside of a set location, you can set up certain alerts. And you can also use Find My and Google Maps to get alerts when people, leave or arrive somewhere. And then also for individuals that want to have more independence with getting out and about, you can use check-in texts or calls as part of your routine, right? If so-and-so is going somewhere, you can say, text me when you get on a bus and when you arrive. And so you can that's another way to check in on somebody and make sure that they're safe. To enhance independence with getting around, you can also use ride services such as Uber and Lyft. And they've come a long way. I know that I was pretty reluctant to have some people that aren't so independent sort of just get on with these strangers. But I think now that they've really put in more safety measures. So you can set up trip notifications to give caregivers or family and trusted contact features. You can set it up so people are automatically notified or can follow along with the trip. You can practice with the individual matching the license plate and the driver photo before getting in. If you have the app open, there's emergency assistance available. You can also, well, I said share ride status with a support person in real time. And there are wheelchair accessible vehicles that can be selected. There's some new features that I found out about when I was preparing for this, actually. Lyft now has, if you go to the bottom row and find where your profile is, you can select it and select a silver mode, which I think was actually made for seniors. But it just has bigger buttons, larger letters, and fewer confusing options. It's just easier to use. And then Uber has something called Uber Assist. And I'm not sure it's available where I am. But in many places, it's rolling out now, and it connects riders needing extra help with drivers who are trained to provide door-to-door assistance. So you can learn more about Uber Assist. I don't know, there's probably an extra fee associated with it, but I don't really know the details, but it's interesting to look into. And also with Uber, you can select wheelchair accessible vehicles. So I have an image of, on the right, that's a screenshot of my phone, looking for a wheelchair accessible vehicle for transportation. Okay. So here are just a few thoughts, a few things to keep in mind when somebody is navigating around. Think about, is their phone fully charged, and do they carry a charger or a power bank? You know, the chargers are getting lighter and smaller. And so if somebody is forgetting to charge up their phone at night, or they might, it's a great safety tool, the phone. So you really want to make sure that it's always powered up. So it might be good if in their bag, they always have an extra charger, a wireless charger. Does the individual know how to turn on and follow voice directions in Google Maps? That might be something to practice. Is location sharing set up with someone they trust? Do they understand basic stranger danger and ride hailing safety? So how to ensure that the person who comes is who they think it is to pick them up? And do they have a backup plan if they get lost? So just a few things to keep in mind. So Kelly says, if a Lyft driver takes an alternate route to a destination, the rider will immediately receive a notification asking if they are okay. Oh, that's great. Yeah, and again, you all might have more experience with this than me. I just gathered together what I hope is helpful information. All right, now I'm going to proceed to translation apps. So here's another scenario. Javier communicates best in Spanish. He recently moved into a supported living residence. So what might he need for maximum independence? All of our phones, we can download live translation apps, and they've gotten better and better. And so Microsoft Translator and Google Translate, I think, are the two most popular. They're both available on all types of phones, and they're totally free. And so you can use them to either type or talk, and it automatically, instantly shows you the translation in the language of your choice. And there are lots and lots of languages. So maybe I'll do a live demo. I thought, okay, let me know if you've used the translation apps. I had an occasion to use it recently. People came to my house to help with something, and they didn't speak any English, and I really wanted to communicate with them. So I just opened up my Google Translate app, and we had no communication barrier. And it was fantastic. So I'm going to go to my advanced tab and my AirPlay. And in the meantime, let me know. Oh, Loanne says, yes, with some frustration. Is that with the translation apps that you had frustration? Okay, so I'm going to open this up. So you'll see my share in a minute. Okay, and now I'm going to go to Translate. So here's Google Translate. Really, they're both very good. So this is what Google Translate looks like. Now I can choose to enter text, or I can just speak. And then I have it set to Portuguese. So let's say I want to just say, hi, it's so nice to see you. Then it just automatically translated. And if I wanted to say that aloud, I'll just press this.
Olá, é tão bom ver você.
It's just automatic, and it's so fast. And I can choose to copy the text and paste it someplace else. I can make it full screen and show it to that person. So there are lots of options, and it's just free. So if you're having trouble communicating with somebody, you can use it to help with the communication. Abby said, do you find that these apps work for people who can be difficult to understand? Good question, Abby. I think that especially these translation apps they're pretty good. You just have to try it. I think that they've gotten better at being able to understand people with different accents and things. But again, everybody's different, and you want to always just try to speak as clearly as you can. And there is the option to type. So you can always try that. I hope I answered your question. Let me know if any of you have used translation apps with people who are who can be difficult to understand. How did that work for you? And you could have if they're really difficult to understand, it might be something that you have to have some phrases typed out and they copy them into the app, and then it might translate them. But I think it's getting better. Let me just show you the Maps app since I didn't do a live demo. So I like both Google Maps and Apple Maps. And again, you can go into Google Maps, and you can go into, basically how you use this is if I want to go somewhere, let's say I want to go to the zoo. I have the zoo here, and now I can decide how do I want to travel. Let's see here. There are all these different ways I can look. Oh, my sharing stopped. That's weird. Yeah, I got to stop the share. I don't know what happened there. Oh, I'll go back to that. All right, let me go back to the actual presentation. And if you want, if we have extra time, I'll share more about the map. I think a lot of people are pretty familiar with using the Map app, but I just really want to caution you to get into the accessibility, because you can really see like wheelchair routes and things, which is really helpful. Emily said, I've seen the app before, but I've not used it. It's really helpful. All right, health and medical information. How can the phone be helpful in terms of health and medical information? So here's a scenario, just getting you thinking about it. Nancy lives semi-independently with support. She has asthma, a serious peanut allergy, and takes daily medications to manage her health. Sometimes she forgets to take her medicine on time or struggles to communicate her medical needs in new situations. So think about it for a minute. Like, how can you use somebody's phone if they have serious medical issues, or even not so serious? How can it help them be better self-advocates and get the help that they need during an emergency? So I thought the best way is to use the health apps that are already included on the smartphones. So if you have an iPhone, there's Apple Health. So it's just this image of the health. It's the heart. It's on your phone already. Android phones are all different, but there is an Android app in the Play Store if it's not already on the phone, and it's called Health Connect. This was new to me. I'm not as Android savvy, so I did some research here. So again, when you get the handout, and again, let me just, while I'm thinking of it, I just put the link in the chat that you can click in and put your name and your email, and just check the 2 boxes, and you'll get instant access to these handouts and the ones from the last week. And then you'll get a follow-up email. Excuse me. So if you click on Apple Health, it's going to show you a lot. Oh, this is just, I put a link to the apps. And here's Health Connect from the Google Play Store. And both of these are free. And so the iPhone Health app is all your centralized health data. So you can go into it and you can see your activity level, your heart rate, your sleep patterns, depending on how you have things set up. And you can also set it up to share specific health data with family and healthcare providers. So when I was preparing this, I actually went in and I decided to sync mine with MyChart. So now it's synced with MyChart. And you can list all of your current meds. You can set up reminders. You'll get alerts for potential drug interactions. I didn't know this, but it monitors your walking steadiness. You can also do some mental well-being tracking. And there is a medical ID associated with it. And there you can put your allergies, your medical conditions, and emergency contacts. And so I'll get back to a live demo if I have time, but I did take the screenshots so that you can see this. And so here's If you go into the iPhone Health app, you'll see that you have 3 choices along the bottom: summary, sharing, and browse. And so I selected browse, and then there's medications. So you click on medications, and then you can add medications one at a time. I think you can input images of them. You can get reminders. I mean, it's really good to use this. For medical ID on the phone, again, here's a screenshot of my phone, just in case I ran out of time. I wanted everybody to have access to this. You go to your profile. So once you're in the health app, you click on your picture or your name, and then that's where you see medical ID. And it's important to, I think, select both of these: show when locked and share during emergency call, because then the medical providers who come to help you, if you dial 911 or, just somebody comes to your rescue, they get access to this without knowing how to get into your phone. And they can contact the people that you put down to contact, and they can access any emergency medical information, so they know your history. So I think that's really important. Again, for those of you who are providers, these are just some ideas. So staff can help set up the medical ID feature on the phones. If there's an emergency, first responders see what they need to do. And then for independents, if you put all the information in that medications feature in the health app or the reminders app for more visual options, you can add each one, turn on daily notifications, and hopefully it'll help the person be more independent with taking meds. And I did some research, and here's some more medication reminder apps. I think I covered that. So, you can, if somebody is trying to live more independently, you can put a reminder in for when they might want to refill their medications. Maybe they should be reviewing, their med lists monthly if there's somebody that their medications change a lot. You can add visual supports or voice notes to explain the purpose of the medications. And I'm going to be getting into this more next week when I talk about Google Keep and Google Docs and Google Drive and Apple Notes and, sort of digital organization in the cloud and all that. That's next week, and executive functioning. But I really think it's important to have a document with all of the medicines written down that you can print out and give to a doctor, or share with somebody. I'll be talking about this more, but I know with my parents, I would always have a shared Google Doc. And whenever their medicines changed and whenever they had doctor's appointments, I was constantly updating that so that they could remind themselves about their medicines and doctor's appointments and recommendations, and, just be better self-advocates. So again, let me know. You guys are pretty quiet, but that's okay. If you're in this world of helping people with developmental disabilities, let's learn from each other. The more you can put in chat and learn from each other, the better. I think it's important to designate emergency contacts. And so how you do that, and that's because then the emergency responders and bystanders will know who to call. And so to do that, what you want to do is open up the health app, tap your profile icon, select medical ID, and then add your details and choose contacts there. That's how you add the people for becoming medical contacts. So again, I put some pictures here. So you go to medical ID. I guess I put that in twice, sorry. Okay, and then there's emergency SOS on the phone. And so if you have, and this is, allows for quick access, and it sends automatic alerts with your location to the emergency people that you've put down. And this is really helpful if you can't communicate. And so there are a couple of ways to do that. If you're on an iPhone, you use most iPhones, you'll use the side button, and you press and hold down the side button and the up volume button at the same time. And then a screen will pop up with a slider to call emergency services, or you just keep holding it until the countdown ends and it automatically calls 911. The other way to do it is if you go to settings and emergency SOS, if you toggle that on, call withhold, you can press it 5 times. I mean, basically, just go into your accessibility settings and look up emergency SOS, and I would enable it. On Android phones, it's a little bit different on everything, but you search for emergency information. You add your medical information, and then you can add your emergency contacts there. So you go to settings and then safety and emergency or lock screen settings and show emergency info. Again, this you just set it up once. It's a one and done, but it's good to have these things set up so that they're there if you need them. And then if you have a Samsung device, you can use a Samsung Health app to set up your medical information and add emergency contacts. And these are just some tips, label emergency contacts in the Contacts app, include both primary caregivers and backups, use emojis and relationship tags for recognition, review emergency information during annual planning meetings or safety trainings, and practice using it. I mean, you don't want to go all the way through, but I think, if you teach someone how to use it and make clear that it's only for emergencies, I think it's good for them to know. Okay, we're doing well. I have 10 more minutes. Last part is camera and photos. And again, if you have any questions, I'm monitoring the chat, so I'll see them as you ask the question. But let's think about how can we use the camera and photos to support independence? How can visual supports help? I'm going to pause and let you think about that and hopefully write something in the chat. We have 50 people here watching, so I'm hoping some people will write some things. Thank you, Abby. We use visual calendars for what staff are entering homes in our supported living department. Thomas says picture schedules. Stephanie says it can help people communicate what they need faster. Okay, all really great. All right. Abby said choice making. So I thought the scenario I gave was Dwayne often forgets the name of his support staff and friends. He also has difficulty explaining what he did during the day. So I was trying to think of free ways to use what's already on the phone without paying for extra apps. Like, how can we use the phone to help visually? So I think taking photos and videos are really powerful communication tools. It's helpful to take pictures of important people and places. Use the edit photos tool to type the names and locations. So I have 2 dogs. This is my dog Teddy. And maybe somebody during the day can take a picture and they can independently or someone else can help edit the photo to put a little caption on it so that they can communicate what they did that day or what they want to do another day. So I wrote, I met Teddy. Create a Today with Dwayne or whatever the person's name is in a photo album. And so you can have albums within the Photos app and they can have all their favorite things to do and point out what they did that day. Just different ways to use visuals to help with communication. You can have your phone set up with easy access to the camera. So last time I showed you how to use assistive access. If it's too complicated to get to the camera, you could just have a couple of icons on the initial page. So we talked about easy setup of the different phones. You can even have it so you back tap with, I think, 3 taps and it can take a picture. So again, going into those accessibility features to figure out how to make it easy. And then you can really go through the pictures together and you could add voice notes so you can have, speech to text and captions. There's just, Emily says, use a recorder device. There's so many ways that you can do this. To create albums in Apple, you go to Photos, then you tap Albums, and then you tap the plus, and then you give it a name. So again, I have an image of my phone here. Here's albums, and you click on that plus at the top. And then it'll say new album, and you name it. And then you can put all the photos you want to into that new album. And if you're in Google Photos, you can go to Google Photos, and then Library, and then New Album, and then title it and select your photos. So it's also really great for learning new routines and tasks to take photos and videos. And then you can have visual checklists and step-by-step guides. You can create an album and have it be like how to do whatever they're learning to do, and you can have videos or still pictures in there. And then the person is able to independently review it to reduce reliance on outside prompts. Because really the point here is independence, right? Use photos to support communication and memory. So you can capture favorites, preferences, experiences, use as conversation starters, and visual supports during a conversation. So maybe you take a picture and, favorite places to go bowling. Look what I cooked. You can type that in with the pictures. All right, I think I did that enough. So these are just examples of different albums you can create, different morning routines. I mean, there are apps for this. There are visual schedule apps, but you can also do it just within the album on their phone. You can more ideas for camera and photos. You can have pictures of medication bottles to make sure they're, taking the right things. You could have pictures of the insurance cards, doctor's appointment cards, emergency instructions. And the individual can practice taking the pictures and videos and deleting them and editing them, or you can do it for the person and they can just use them to help themselves. Oh, I'm just looking. Steven says he uses his camera as a magnifying glass. I should have put that in. Thank you for that. If you're in the camera, you can make things bigger. And so you can use that as a magnifying glass to see something if you forget your glasses. Or there is a feature that if you go into accessibility settings of an iPhone, you can enable the magnifier. I'll have to talk about this next time, because then you can triple click on the side button and really magnify and shine a light on something. So if you're trying to read a menu that's small print or a medicine bottle, it makes it so much easier. But thanks for that. But just using the camera does that too. Well, that was it. So any particular questions? Or anything that you'd like to see in person? I didn't want to run out of time. I'm going to stop my share so we can all see each other. You can raise a hand and we'll see it, or you can write, we can even offer to unmute you if you want, or you can write something in the chat. We have a few minutes left. And next week, I have a whole presentation that I think, with a lot more information too. I'm going to put the link for you to download the handout again, and it will include last week's presentation and this week's presentation for you.
You got a question?
Okay, could you show the demo how to download Google Lens? Okay, so you don't download Google Lens. I think that's a problem. So let me do this. I'm going to share. So for Google Lens, Jane, do you have an iPhone or an Android phone? If you have an iPhone, so there's no Google Lens app. That's what gets so confusing. You have to download the Google app, just the G. I'm going to share my phone with you again. And I'll show you. That's a great question, because everybody gets confused with that. So there's no Google Lens app for an iPhone. It's only within Google.
She has an iPhone.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm opening up I'm going to be sharing my screen again in a second. There we go. Okay. So what you would need to do if you go to the apps, so it's this Google app with the G in the top middle. So if I go to the App Store, I would search just for Google, just for the Google app. I think you just call it Google. It's just that G, the one with the G. And that's where it is. And so with Google Lens, after you use it, so let's say, all right, I just got some new glasses. So you can all see, these are my new glasses. So if I want to, if you love my new glasses and you want to get the same ones, you could select it, and then it's going to search for similar glasses. And there it is. I got them at Warby Parker. So those are my glasses. So that's, that's how you can search for something. Or if you want to read aloud something, you can just take a magazine or a sign or anything you want. So I'm going to go back. Click on the camera. And again, here's the camera. And so I can select the text. So it automatically highlights the text. And then I can copy it, I can listen to it, I can translate it, or I can copy it to a computer. So what I was talking about was just listening.
New, vibrant colors and summary stripes.
Oh, it's a really, really great app. So again, there's no Google Lens app. It's just a feature of Google within the Google app. Rufina asks, how do I get session 1 notes? The link that I gave, so Kelly just pasted it in, thanks. That will have the slides of last week and this week. And Stephanie, can you say, I don't have control over the recording. I believe it's been posted on on your website.
I will double check, but if not, it should be posted by the end of the week for last week and this week's once it's sent to us.
Yeah, let me know. Email me, joan@innovativespeech.com if you're having trouble or have any questions, and I can try to make it easier for you. So
So when
go ahead.
I was going to say Stephen was sharing how to do it on Android, newer Android users, AI.
And Dr. Small says DDA will also have a playlist on our YouTube channel where all of these videos will be uploaded. Yeah, that's where I thought. So that I guess they haven't been uploaded yet. Okay, well, I think we've finished session number 2.
Very good. Well, thank you everyone for joining us. We look forward to seeing you next week. As Dr. Smalls let us know, the videos will be uploaded to our YouTube page, and the access to the slide deck is in the chat. And you can get there. Once you click it, you'll have to put in your name and your email and click both buttons, and you'll get full access. Thank you again for joining us, and we'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.